See y'all over there. All right, Jacob, let's move it along here, man, to the Week 11 preview. Do you enjoy doing this type of stuff, man?
I do.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things, man. I just love kind of looking at the outcome or the outlook, I should say, on the upcoming week. I think it's absolutely awesome just seeing what's on slate for football coming up this week. Let's jump into it, man. Obviously, the game has already been played. The Patriots beat the New York Jets 27-14. That was a lot closer than I expected going into the second half. But Patriots get the win. They improved to 9-2 over the Jets, who fall to 2-8. So the 9:30 a.m. game tomorrow, Jacob, is going to be the Washington Commanders at the Miami Dolphins. Both these teams are 3-7 right now. This is going to be played in Madrid, Spain. So you got the Commanders, obviously an NFC team. I really don't care who wins this game, to be honest with you, man. Maybe if the Commanders beat them, maybe Mike McDaniel will get fired or we can get him in-house as an assistant or something. That'd be kind of cool. He's a really, really good running game mind, by the way, but it's obviously not working in Miami. So you got anything to add to that game there before we move along?
No, not really. Like you said, if the Dolphins can maybe just knock down the Commanders a little bit more, to me that would make a little more sense. But like you said, I like that weirdo Mike McDaniel. Let's bring his little weirdo butt over to Green Bay and just have him kind of, do the mad scientist thing with Josh Jacobs. That sounds all right with me.
Yeah, there you go. All right, moving along. The 1 o'clock window, we got the Panthers at the Falcons. The Panthers are 5-5 going into Atlanta, who is 3-6. All right. Not a whole lot of playoff implications here. I guess the Panthers are still technically in the hunt. The Falcons, it's going to take hell and half of Georgia freezing over for them to make the playoffs. But Panthers probably have the upper hand here. However, Falcons being at home, you never know. I'm rooting for the Falcons there because I want to continue to beat down the Panthers' opportunity to make the playoffs. So anything there you want to add to the Panthers-Falcons matchup as they're 5-5 and 3-6?
Yeah. Bryce Young, continues to kind of struggle, go up and down in his career. They've got him slated at 163.5 pass yards. They got Michael Penix at 225. So it does seem like they're thinking that Atlanta may be a little more explosive on offense. But, I'm cool with rooting for the Falcons for this one and just kicking the Panthers down a little bit. People think that was such a terrible win. They got 5 wins. They're
right.
They're still in it.
Absolutely, man. Next, you've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Buffalo. This has got to be the Tony Romo game of the week right here. Here's the guy. Actually, no, I don't know, Jim. Right? So the Bucs are 6-3. The Buffalo Bills are 6-3. The Buccaneers are 4-1 on the road. The Bills are 4-1 at home. Something's got to give here. 39 degrees. Looks like it's going to be partly cloudy. Cold weather game there at Buffalo at Orchard Park. So obviously, I'm a Bills fan for this game, man. Let's hope the Bills go in there and kick the crap out of the Buccaneers somehow, some way. If that happens, then the Bucs are obviously going to fall to 6-4, and that helps the Packers' opportunity to make the playoffs on down the road as well.
Yeah, I've always said if I wasn't a Packers fan, I probably would gravitate towards being a Bills fan.
Same.
I don't know why. It just kind of feels right. I also had a guy that I played high school football with that was drafted by the Bills, so that was kind of cool. But that being said, I think that the market is kind of looking at what you said being a cold weather game and kind of slobber knocker. They got Josh Allen only slated at 213.5 passing yards and Baker Mayfield only at 205.5. So wow. I think they might be expecting maybe a defensive battle, more of a run game battle, but old school football, I feel like that's going to be a fun one to watch.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, moving along. The Houston Texans at the Tennessee Titans. Texans come in 4-5. The Titans are sitting at 1-8. It looks like it's going to be 65 degrees and beautiful down here in Nashville. So I think Texas probably go in there and get a dub. Not a whole lot on the line for me in terms of that. Maybe are the Titans going to continue to kind of revamp everything? Maybe they make a complete overhaul. I don't know. They got to get ready for that new stadium, Jacob. You used to live in Nashville. It's ugly down there right now, dude. They're 0-4 at home.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about that stadium, first of all? Do you like it? It's got way more of a college feel. Nissan, what was it, Nissan Stadium?
Their current field, right?
Yeah.
I personally like it. It's got a lot of sentimental value to me. It reminds me of Commonwealth Stadium, where now it's called Kroger Field, where Kentucky plays. So it's kind of that same type of dual stands. You got some of the press boxes in the end zone, or just some of the cool stuff in the end zone. I personally like it. And, they moved from Houston to Nashville right when I got out of high school, and I moved to Knoxville. So Met a lot of Titans fans down there in Knoxville, and it's just got a little sentimental value to me. I personally like that type of stadium, but I'm going to hate their new one that for some reason you're in Nashville and you're going to build a damn dome. It's my boy.
It's tough. No, I personally really like the stadium too, to your point. Me and my old roommate Moonshine, who was a Cowboys fan, we would just go and buy tickets for dirt cheap, and I'd wear my Packers uniform or jerseys, and he'd wear his Bears, and we'd have people just taunting us and yelling at us the whole game. It was great. But yeah, I see the Titans probably going to drop one, unfortunately. Texans, I think Davis Mills actually is a better backup than people give credit for.
Yeah.
Seems like he plays with a lot of heart. So he's slated at 215.5. Cam Ward only at 181.5.
There you go. All right, moving along. This is one of the games I'm most interested in right here, man.
Oh, yeah.
I hate that it's in the same window as the Packers, but you've got the 6-3 Chicago Bears going into Minneapolis to take on Jacob's second favorite team, the 4-5 Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are 1-3 at home. The Bears are 3-2 on the road. The Bears are definitely hands down playing way better football than the Vikings right now. However, here are the rankings, guys. The Chicago Bears offense is now 11th in scoring in terms of points per play. Right? The Minnesota Vikings defense is 20th in points per play allowed. So you would give the advantage to the Bears there. However, as Lee Corso says, not so fast, my friends. Chicago's defense is 29th in points per play allowed. Minnesota's offense is 15th in points per play on offense, okay? So you can kind of see where the strengths lie in each of these teams. With it being in Minneapolis, I'm going to give the edge to Minnesota 20-17 that they win that game. And if they do, all of a sudden, if the Packers take care of business against the Giants and the Lions drop to the Eagles on Sunday night, we'll talk about that in here in a minute. All of a sudden, the Packers back in first place in the North, if I remember correctly. We'll double check that on the playoff simulator here in a second. But how do you feel about this Bears at Vikings? You think the Vikings can pull off a dub at home, man?
Man, it feels like blasphemy for me to even admit that I want to see the Vikings win. You guys know how strongly I feel about my hate for that team, that city, the fact that I have to watch their local news channels when I am in Wisconsin and I pay Wisconsin taxes. That being said, I hope that they absolutely just go bear hunting. It'll be opening deer season in, I believe it's Minnesota at that time. So, go bear hunting, man. Go and get some pelts, put them on the wall. And then, like you said, if we do handle our business and if the Lions have a little mess up against the Eagles, then we're right back in the thick of things and leading the division and have I would argue probably, gosh, I don't know the metrics, but I have to imagine it'd be over 90% chance of making the playoffs at that point. Because even with the loss last week, I believe Ryan said we were at an 82% chance of winning. So now that we're into this division, but that being said, anything can happen in the NFC North when they play each other. Who knows? But I really am unfortunately pulling for the Vikes.
I just hate this as a 1:00 game because if it was a 4:00 game, as soon as we wrapped up our post game show, we'd jump right into just calling this game. This would be
It'd be fun.
So anyway, there you go. Bears at the Vikings, another game to watch. Now, of course, you got the Packers at the Giants. Packers 5-3-1. We're 2-1-1 on the road. The Giants are 2-8. They're 2-2 at home. We've broken that down pretty extensively. We'll just kind of move it along there. Bengals at the Steelers. The Bengals are 3-6. Steelers are 5-4 in Pittsburgh. 46 degrees and partly cloudy is the forecast. Another 1:00 window. I like the Steelers' chances there. Although there was rumors that Burrow might be getting close to coming back. I don't know if we've heard anything about that or not, Jake.
Yeah, I know he was practicing, but I don't know. I feels kind of weird that they'd force him back that soon. But who knows? I'm not a doctor. I would probably. Aaron Rodgers is still playing good ball. I think they have the momentum. That's probably what I would go with, but not too sure about it.
All right, it should be a fun one though, man. Anytime division rivals get together like that in the Northeast, or Northeast-ish, I should say. It is in Pittsburgh. Obviously, the Bengals are. Some people don't consider it Northeast, so out there in Cincinnati in the Ohio Valley, but that's going to be a fun game to watch. I think, man. Definitely pulling for the Steelers. Me personally, I'd love to see. I'm still holding out for Packers, Steelers Super Bowl. I want to see Aaron Rodgers against Jordan Love for the Super Bowl thing. Must-see TV.
Crazy, bro. That's crazy.
Awesome.
I think they're looking at this game being a high-scoring game. They got Flacco at 257.5 and Rodgers at 237.5.
Man, that's going to be the Geritol Bowl there, man, with those two old cats. That's going to be absolutely awesome. Seriously, they're going to bring them both out on walkers.
Just real easy like. They got the Velcro shoes on. Yeah.
There you go,
Uh,
Bates.
Bates is saying that Burrow returned to practice on November 10th, so he's in that 21-day window to return to active. Thank you, Bates.
Got it. Appreciate that, Bates. So probably not playing tomorrow, I can't imagine, right? So they just opened up the window. You never know, though, man. You never know. Macaulay Culkin's tough, man, once he grew up, right? So, or Kevin McAllister, I should say, sorry. Next in the 1 o'clock window on CBS, you've got the LA Chargers 7-3 traveling to Jacksonville Jaguars 5-4. I like the Chargers' chances of winning that game. They've been good on the road, 3-1 on the road this year. However, the Jaguars are 3-2 at home, 77 degrees and sunny down there in Jacksonville. I like the Chargers in this one, but we'll see how it goes. You never know, man. Funny things happen on the road like that when you have to travel across the country.
Yeah, I think the Chargers are kind of been a hit and miss team, but they still have a great record. I think they know how to put it together. Herbert's slated at 254.5, so they feel like that he's going to be able to move the ball around pretty well, it looks like. And then Trevor Lawrence at 169.5.
Nice. Jordan Dixon reading the chat said Clayton got me feeling things with this Steelers versus Packers Super Bowl. It would be wild, man, for sure. It would be absolutely wild. All right, moving along. Let's start the 4 o'clock window. The Seahawks at the Rams, Jacob. This is going to be a damn doozy right here, dude. The Seahawks 7-2. They're 4-0 on the road. The Rams 7-2, same division, right? And they're 3-1 at home. Something's got to give here. This is going to be absolutely awesome. The Seahawks defense is humming. Sam Darnold's been playing good football. Sean McVay's got the LA Rams playing good football. Their defense is nothing to overlook as well. This is one we're going to keep our eye on in that 4 o'clock window. As we go live for our PTA post-game show immediately following the Packers game, we'll be keeping a close eye on this one because there are playoff implications on the line here.
Yeah, that might be a fun one to call. They're expecting, it looks like, a high-flying affair here because Matthew Stafford is slated at 270.5, Sam Darnold 251.5. And I mean, it makes sense. Those are some potent offenses, some very talented defenses. That's going to be a fun one right there. That's got to be the game of the week, right?
Yeah. Absolutely, man. It's going to be, that's got to be, who would it be that calls that game? That would be
Aikman and Buck. Oh.
No. They're with ESPN now. Remember, this would be right. Tom Brady. Tom Brady, man, you get him on a podcast, you get him talking ball. I could listen to it all day long. You get him on a telecast, and it's like, I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what. I just don't understand. The only thing I can come up with is the production crew at Fox are trying to give him advice on what to do. Just shut the hell up and let the
Is he with Tirico? Who is he with? I can't even remember.
He is with, I can't remember his name. Is it Tom Brenneman maybe? Somebody like that. I could be wrong. You guys let me know in the chat. But
Bates, let us know. Come on, Bates.
Yeah, it's somebody that's like, I don't consider him upper echelon, although he's probably been calling games since before I was born.
I like Kenny Albert.
Burkhardt. There it is. Thank you, Timmy. B. Timmy said, yeah, Burkhardt. So appreciate it, buddy. Yeah. All right, moving along. Got another AFC or NFC West showdown here in the 4 o'clock window with the 6-4 49ers going down to the 3-6 Cardinals. 49ers probably go down there and take care of business, but the Niners are 4-2 on the road. The Cardinals are 1-3 at home. The Packers already beat them on the road this year. Probably going to be the Niners in this one, although I am going to be a Cardinals fan. We definitely want them to beat the 49ers in this one.
Yeah, go Birds, go Cards, whatever your guys' chant is. Jacoby Brissett slated. It looks like they're going to get Brock Purdy back as well, so that doesn't bode too well for Cardinals fans. But you never know. Brissett played good against us. He could play good, and it's the NFL, so anything can happen. Brissett slated at 227.5, Brock Purdy at 254.5, so they expect him to have a pretty good resurgence coming back from the injury.
Got it. All right, continue with the 4 o'clock window. The Ravens at the Browns. This is the 4-5 Ravens and the 2-7 Browns. This is not your Grandpappy's Ravens team, and it is your Grandpappy's Browns team, though. So Baltimore probably goes in there and take care of business. But listen, guys, I'm hoping the Browns win. What I want to see happen is I want to see the Ravens, when they come to Lambeau Field at the end of the year, I want them to be out of playoff contention is what I want. Problem is they're just one game behind the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, if I remember correctly. So with that being said, I'm with Jay. Ravens probably win by 40, but I'm rooting for the Browns because I want the Ravens to come into Lambeau. Yes, let's put Lamar on IR. Let's just scrap it up for the year. We'll reset next year. Injuries got us this year, top thing. So how do you see this one, man? Do you see that the same way? Do you want the Browns to win, or am I overlooking something there?
No, I mean, obviously I want the Browns to win. Is it a long shot? Totally, 100%. But that being said, the interdivisional games, again, like we talked about, those guys hate each other. Those teams absolutely got bad blood. And so that sparks a whole different type of ball game when you go into those, regardless of what the the records are. And honestly, for the Ravens, they'd probably, feel a little embarrassed. And the Browns probably like, oh, we're only 2 games under the Ravens. Like we could score 1 and we're almost neck and neck. I mean, they might be playing for something actually there. So I'm excited. Do I think it's going to happen? Nah. I'll still go put a buck down on the Browns having an upset. That'd be fun, but that's probably all that's going to happen is I'll just get excited for a couple hours and then reality will set in. But
this next game here, I'm not saying this will put the Chiefs out of the hunt, but I do think it's going to be very, very, very telling of how the rest of the season, their season is going to go. The Chiefs are 5-4. They're 1-3 on the road. They're traveling to Denver to play the Broncos, right, who are 8-2. They're 5-0 at home. If the Chiefs lose this game, Jacob, and listen, all signs are pointing to the Broncos should win this ballgame. They got an undefeated home record. Mile High's been rocking this year, whatever they're calling it. Besco Field at Mile High / Tullet, whatever. I don't know what the hell they call it. But if the Chiefs lose this game, boy, their backs are going to be against the wall because the Broncos are starting to run away with this thing big time. What's wild to me, though, if this is accurate, 70 degrees in Denver for this game, that's absolutely wild there. So maybe somebody was high over there at AccuWeather when they put that report in. But nonetheless, Chiefs at the Broncos. Broncos playing damn good football. We got to face them here in a few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, the Broncos are firing on all cylinders. Peyton's got that team just playing very, very almost, I wouldn't say perfect, but they're about as close as you can at home. Obviously got the perfect record there. The Chiefs, not so good, 1-3 in away games. I mean, it is interesting. They have Patrick Mahomes slated at 263.5, so they do feel like he's going to come out and start chucking the ball, which honestly is probably what they have to do against the Broncos team. They could score on offense. I'm really like their defense, the way that, that Nick Bonito, I don't think he gets enough credit for him being just an absolute stud. And I would hope that the Broncos, never thought I'd be a Broncos fan after what that stupid John Elway did to me when I was a little boy. But
that sounded really bad, Jacob.
I stand by what I said. He hurt me. All right. My dad, I cried. My dad's like, we don't cry. Anyways, it's a long story. I look for the Broncos to go ahead and take the win there, send the Chiefs licking their wounds and actually having to be they'd be an even team. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. All right, man. J. Cole in the chat said Chiefs will use devil magic to win the game. That's a fact right there.
Yep.
That's a fact. Jerry in the chat says Broncos are on the edge of losing half the time. I bet they choke. All right, we'll make a note of that. If they do choke, we'll give Jerry credit for that for sure.
I'll have to remember that.
All right. Up next, the Sunday night game of the week on NBC / Peacock. Been waiting all day for Sunday night, Jacob. This is a doozy. You got the 6-3 Detroit Lions who are playing damn good football right now, going into Philly to face the 7-2 Eagles, the number 1 seed in the NFC. The Lions are 3-2 on the road. The Eagles are 3-1 at home. You're looking at about 44 degrees and clear skies. Beautiful night for football. Just a little bit chilly. Man, I hope the Eagles throat stomp the heck out of the Lions in this game. With that being said, the Lions are playing damn good football right now, man. Who are you rooting for in this one, Jacob?
Go Birds, which I hate. My old roommate was a diehard Philly fan, and it stinks that they've kind of, it's them and KC right now. I think they're just the perennial dogs that you have to worry about. And the Lions are right up there too, and that pains me to say as well. But I think if Jalen Hurts goes in there and, does what they do and just plays smart football, they're just too good in the trenches, man. And I feel like the Lions are a little more weak in those areas compared to years prior, just from a lot of the retirements, the injuries, all that kind of stuff, still not getting healthy. But like you said, man, they're biting kneecaps. I hate to admit it. Dan Campbell seems to year in and year out put together a good squad of guys that play absolutely very physical football. And that's what they're going to need if they're going to try to beat the Eagles. However, go Eagles. Let's come on, get this over with. I'll just close my eyes and, wait till it's over.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, Lions at the Eagles.
Much like John Elway did to me when I was a boy.
We're rooting for the Eagles to get the win there. We got to get that clip. So we hopefully the Eagles knock off the Lions, and that'll help the Packers' chances of reclaiming the North if everything goes the Packers' way this week. And then, of course, Monday Night Football, boy, they could not have picked a worse game, let me tell you. You got the 3-5-1 Cowboys that are 1-4 on the road going to the Las Vegas Raiders, who are 2-7. They're 1-3 at home. Boy, what a stinker. Jacob, dude, you got anything you want to add to that one? I really don't care who wins that game. I kind of hope both teams lose, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they got Dak slated at 257.5, Geno at 235.5. I mean, this is as close to the Turlet Bowl as we're gonna get. J.
Yeah.
Cole, he says, Jacob better not hope that no one clips that. Emilio's already gonna listen to this and it's gonna be clipped. All right, so I'll wake up tomorrow morning to it as my alarm, I'm sure.
And as Jen Wright says, another toilet bowl. This is the toilet bowl of the week, isn't it, Jen? I think they should just give them both a tie and let everybody go over and enjoy the slot machines. You know what I mean? Just y'all go hang out for this little team bonding activity. Nobody wants to watch this game, right? So, yeah. As Holmes MD1 says, what you think, God never farted?
You think God never farted?
So, yeah, there you go. There is your Week 11 slate of games. Now, Jacob, this is where it gets fun, man. This is when we jump into the playoff simulator. Let's talk about what's on the line. We've kind of given you guys an idea of who we're rooting for this week. So let's go through and pick these games, all right? And we'll throw it into the playoff simulator. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. Now, listen, we'll pick the AFC teams, not that it really matters, but let's just kind of – first time through, Jacob, let's say what we think's going to happen. Then we'll clear it off, okay? And then we'll jump back into, okay, best case scenario, worst case scenario for the Packers, if that makes sense. So, with that being said, Washington at Miami, who do you got here, man?
I think Washington's probably going to – well, no, yeah, I think Mariota's a better quarterback than people give him credit for. I think the Dolphins are sliding. I think I'll go Washington.
All right, Washington gets that win. The Cincinnati Bengals at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to go with the Steelers in this one, okay?
I agree.
We'll pick that. Next, you got the Chargers at the Jaguars. Who do you think is going to win that one, Jake?
I think it could be a tougher game than people think, but I'm going Chargers.
Gotcha. I could see that, too, being like a one-score game, three-point game, something like that. Next, you got Tampa Bay at Buffalo. Realistically, we're trying to pick who we think is going to win here, okay? Who do you think has the upper hand? Obviously, it's being played in Orchard Park. Who would you go with there?
I think it's Buffalo.
Buffalo, okay. So Buffalo gets the dub. That helps the Packers a lot, I feel like, long term for sure. Next, you get the Chicago Bears at the Minnesota Vikings. I picked the Vikings to win by 3. Do you see it different? Do you think Chicago goes in there and gets that win?
I think the Vikings win at home. Yeah.
Okay. If it was on the road, I agree with you. Like if it was in Chicago, probably go with the Bears here. So, all right, so the Vikings get the dub there. Houston at Tennessee. Not that any of us care, but who do you think is going to win that? Houston. All right, we'll give it to the Texans. Next, you get the Carolina Panthers at the Atlanta Falcons. Who do you want to pick there?
I think my gut's telling me Atlanta, even though I wouldn't be surprised if Carolina wins.
Let's take Atlanta. All right, Packers at the Giants. Do we both agree? We think the Packers should go in there and take care of business, right?
The real G's, yeah.
There you go. And then you got the Seattle Seahawks at the LA Rams. Who do we think's got the upper hand there, man? That's going to be a hell of a ball game.
I think I trust McVay. I think I'm going LA. That rhymed.
You do it all the time. All right, San Francisco at Arizona. What are we thinking there? Got to be San Fran, right?
Purdy's coming back. Got to go San Fran.
Got to go with the Niners. All right. Baltimore at the Browns. As much as I want the Browns to win, I think Baltimore probably gets the dub there. You agree?
Yeah, I do.
All right. Next, you got the Chiefs at the Broncos. Do you think, like Jerry said, the Broncos kind of scraping by, winning these close games. Do you think that the Chiefs go in there and upset them? Or do you think the Broncos come out victorious?
Just because I feel like that the league just wants KC to not be out of it, I think I might have to side with Jerry all of a sudden now that I think about it. It just sounds like that type of game where it'd be a Patrick Mahomes.
Here's the guy. All right, we'll go with the Chiefs, unfortunately. Lions at the Eagles. Remove our Packers fandom. Which team do you feel like has the true edge here? And I'm genuinely asking. I'm not trying to sway your opinion any. Again, we can pick best case and worst case here in a second. But how do you see that?
I think if it's an old school thumper game, it's Philly. But I think if they get a little tricky, the Lions could squeak one out. If I had to do a coin toss, I'd go 60% Philly.
Okay. So we'll go Philly. I feel like Philly can win that ball game too. The Lions are playing great football. If this was in Detroit, I'd probably side with the Lions. But it being in Philly, I'm going to go Philly as well.
Their fans and then, of course, vicious.
Yeah. And then you got the Cowboys at the Raiders. Who cares, right? Let's say Raiders just so they can both look even suckier, right? So there you go. So if all of that unfolds, and again, that was us, what our prediction would be on which teams are going to win. I promise you we did not hit on 100% of those. I promise you. We'd be lucky if we hit on 50%. That's the league, right? But here's how the playoffs would shake out. In the AFC, the number 1 seed would be the Patriots, the 2 seed Indianapolis Colts, 3 seed LA Chargers, 4 seed Pittsburgh Steelers, 5 seed Denver Broncos, 6 seed Buffalo Bills, 7th seed Kansas City. So even with Buffalo winning that game, right? Actually, no, not Buffalo. Kansas City did win their game. So Kansas City winning that game, they're the 7th seed. This is a good example. Let's say the Broncos beat the Chiefs. All of a sudden, the Chiefs are out of the playoffs.
Ooh,
so you can kind of see what's on the line there, right? And also, if the Broncos win that game and everything unfolds the way we just said, the Patriots are the 1 seed. If the Broncos lose, if they win, they're the 1 seed, and the Patriots are now the 2 seed. You're starting to see how everything's starting to unfold. Really, really cool. We did say Chiefs, so we'll flip it back. All right, now, with all that being said, let's say I think we actually picked best case scenario of how we think this week's going to go, right? Philly beating – this is just strictly NFC North, right? So Philly is the number 1 seed if everything falls the way we just said. The number 2 seed is the LA Chargers. The number 3 seed is your horrible, fire everybody Green Bay Packers, okay? And NFC North leading Green Bay Packers. The number 4 seed would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The 5 seed would be the Seattle Seahawks. The 6th seed would be San Francisco. The 7th seed would be the Detroit Lions. And the Bears are officially out of the playoffs as of that moment, okay? So with that being said, that's best case scenario and what we thought probably would happen. Okay. Now let's go back and go worst case scenario. Okay. Let's say that the Bears beat the Vikings. Just that game alone there. Bears beat the Vikings. Everything stays the same. Now the Bears are the NFC North lead, but the Packers are still the 6th seed. See what I'm saying? So we actually moved up a seed if that were to occur. Now, let's say the Lions actually beat the Eagles, all right, on Sunday Night Football, and the Packers still beat the Giants. Now what you've got is the LA Rams are the 1 seed. The Lions are now the number 2 seed, leading the NFC North. Eagles 3 seed. Tampa Bay Buccaneers 4 seed. The Bears would be the 5th seed. The Eagles would be the 6th seed. And the Packers would be the 7th seed. Moral of the story, the Packers go out and take care of business and beat the Giants. And everything else goes wrong, the Packers are still the 7th seed. See what I'm saying? So you're still in the playoffs there. Now, if the Packers were to lose to the Giants and the Bears win and the Lions win, the Packers are out of the playoffs officially, okay? And now the Bears are the 5 seed, the Lions are the 2 seed, and I think the 49ers sneak in as the 7th seed. That makes sense. So that's what we think will happen. That's best case scenario and worst case scenario. So with that being said, going back to what we think is going to happen, this may be what we're looking at here this week following week 11. If the Packers take care of business, the Vikings beat the Bears, the Eagles beat the Lions, we're sitting here in the lead in the NFC North going into week 12. Thoughts, Jacob, comments before we wrap up, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I love this exercise just because it does show you how close, 1 or 2 games can drastically reshape the whole aspect of the playoff picture. It is, I think the NFC North, I think you'd have to argue is probably one of, if not the most competitive divisions in the NFL, which is, equally fun to watch and freaking nerve-wracking. That Seattle LA matchup is pretty awesome to see how that dictates kind of the top and the bottom. I think that this may be the deepest playoff seed that we've had in a long time. As far as the NFC goes, for sure, there is just really competitive teams that on any given Sunday, who knows the outcome. And it's a little more dominant, I think, over in the AFC as far as what that playoff picture looks like, and a little more top heavy. But still, even then, if you're telling me that the 7th seed is going to be Kansas City, that's scary. You know what I mean? So it's a very, very interesting playoff escape that we're getting into for this year, and I'm just excited.
Yeah.
And overall, just the fact that Packers fans need to relax.
I'm sorry, you cut out there, Jacob. What'd you say, buddy?
Just saying that Packer fans right now need to really pump the brakes on this absolute fire everyone. Matt LaFleur sucks. This guy sucks. Forget, we're ranked
I agree, man.
3rd. Like, let's just chill.
Yeah, everybody, RELAX. Let's do this. We got a couple minutes here, okay? We got about 7 minutes. Let's jump ahead to week 12. Let's leave that set the way we just had it, all right? So next week, let's just focus on the NFC North teams alone, okay? So coming into next week, week 12, we'd be the NFC North leading team and the number 3 seed. The Lions are the 7th seed. The Bears are out of the playoffs, okay? Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers travel to Chicago. Last I checked, Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears. Guys, the Bears defense is 29th in the league in points per play allowed. They have a horrible defense, right? But their offense is borderline top 10 all of a sudden, right? And it's mainly because of their running game. The running game is really, really come along nice under Ben Johnson. So How would you see that? The Pittsburgh Steelers going into Chicago. Jake, if it was anybody other than Aaron Rodgers playing quarterback, you're going to get your best version of Aaron going into Chicago, seeing that he's the self-proclaimed owner of the Chicago Bears franchise. Do you think Pittsburgh can win that game?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Let's do it. Let's click the Steelers to win that game. All right. And then let's go. We got Packers hosting the Minnesota Vikings.
God.
That's gonna be a huge game, man. Look at Jacob Grinch. He just got sick of his stomach a little bit.
I did.
So let's say the Packers win that ball game, and then you get the Lions hosting the Giants, right? I think we both agree Lions take care of business at home right there, right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, if that happens, then next week the Packers are still leading the North at 7-3-1. The Detroit Lions are the 7th seed, okay? And the Bears are out of the playoffs once again. Okay. Now let's say the Packers win and the Lions win. And let's say the Bears do knock off the Steelers. Okay. They're still out of the playoffs. See what I'm saying? So that's kind of what's on tap there. Now let's look at how the Packers could potentially climb up in the NFC rankings. We would be at 7-3-1. The Rams are above us in the 2 seed at 8-2. Remember that tie that everybody was so worried about, right? Watch this. If next week Tampa Bay goes in and beats the Rams on the road and we take care of business, nothing changed. Okay, so we're still at 7-3-1. We're still the 3 seed there, right? Now, let's say the Rams win that game and they kind of really pull away. The moral of the story is if Tampa knocks off the LA Rams next week and we take care of business like we think we can against the Vikings, if that happens, then what you're essentially looking at is we are this close to passing the LA Rams up as the number 2 seed. Guys, when you log on to Twitter and you listen to fans talk about this season, if you were to try to compare yourself, your Packers, to the LA Rams, you would get raked over the coals. Oh, this Packers team is horrible. The Rams are so much better. We're this close to passing them up in the number 2 seed. We're also this close to falling out of the playoffs, which is exactly what Jacob was saying and how close this NFC is. So, any thoughts on all of that, Jacob?
Can you click if Carolina were to beat San Francisco, what that does to the rankings?
Absolutely. So if the Panthers beat the 49ers before the 49ers are the 6th seed, if that happens, the Niners are out of the playoffs and the Bears are now the number 7.
Dude, This is getting fun.
It's getting good, dude. I'm telling you. And let's see who else we got in here. Seattle. Let's see who Seattle plays, right? Seahawks are on the road in Tennessee. No chance there, boys. I mean, they're going to take care of business down there in Tennessee. What if the Titans upset Seattle, though? Wouldn't that be hilarious? Let's give the Seattle Seahawks the win here, okay? Nothing changes for them. They're 8-3, and the Packers are still the 3 seed. They're the 5 seed, right? So that's what you're in position for. Now,
what if Dallas were to beat Philly?
If Dallas were, that's the division rival, right? If Dallas were to beat Philly, Philly's still the number 1 seed. They got room. They created some cushion. That win over the Packers was so huge, man. I mean, it sucks that the outcome turned out the way it did, but boy, oh boy. Let's say that the Eagles do beat the Cowboys. Now, let's look at the bad part here, Jacob. Let's say the Packers, everything we've already said, let's say the Packers lose to the Vikings. If that happens, the Packers fall from the 3 seed to the 7 seed, and the Lions are now the 3 seed. The Bears are the 6 seed. The Packers are the 7 seed. So you got 3 of the 4 NFC North teams in the playoffs if that happens. So again, the moral of the story is take care of business this week against the Giants. You actually give yourself a little bit of cushion, right? And what it really comes down to is for the remainder of the season, the Packers can lose 2 games, still win 11, which I predicted they would be at this year, right? 11 to 13 wins, ceiling 13, no less than 11 wins. If you lose 2 of the rest of the season, you can lose 2 games and still finish with 11 wins. You're going to get in the playoffs. It's going to be – I don't see a scenario where the Packers win 11 games and they don't make the playoffs, okay? So with that being said, when you look at the remainder of the Packers schedule, it's going to come down to, I think personally, it's the Broncos. The Broncos, and there was another team too. Let me pull up the schedule real quick. I don't want to misspeak here. So you've got, for the remainder of the games, Giants, Vikings, Lions, Bears, Broncos, Bears, Ravens. There's 3 games there. You could lose any of these. You could lose every one of these games. I want to be very clear. Like the way this season's gone, you could lose out. You could also win out and finish with 13 wins. However, the 3 games I'm most concerned about are on the road in Detroit on a short week for Thanksgiving, on the road against a great Denver Broncos team, and then you got the Ravens at home. Me personally, I could see it being you lose to the Lions on Thanksgiving Day, you lose 2 weeks later on the road in Denver, and then that Baltimore game is going to come down to you winning, you're in the playoffs. At Lambeau, cold as a well digger's ass. That would be absolutely awesome setting for Lambeau Field. And I might just have to purchase tickets to that one if that's the case. So,
there you go.
There is your playoff outlook for the remainder of the season. Jacob, parting thoughts, man. Let's wrap this thing up. I gotta get ready, and we're going to go to dinner tonight, run around. So no show tonight. We'll just be doing, like I said, just this one. And the content we'll break down for everybody on the podcast.
No, I mean, like I kind of said, it shows how tight this race is coming into the final stretch here, how important it is for our team to start gelling together. Our offense needs to complement the defense, which needs to complement the special teams, which needs to get their stuff together. The sky isn't falling. We still have a really, really good team. We have a lot of talented players, some of which that we could even be getting back with the resurgence of maybe Jaden Reed and guys like that, where, we did not have them. Obviously, losing Tuck sucks, but you had to look at what Fitzpatrick, Musgrave, and now Wiley. I mean, we've got some talent still in key positions, and we just got to put it together, and we can make a pretty good deep run. If not, let's, like Clayton said, let's see that Steelers-Packers rematch for the Super Bowl. How historic and awesome would that be? In the meantime, have a little bit of, chill, man. Just enjoy the ride. We're still ranked very, very highly. We get 1 or 2 wins, and we almost, like Clayton said, cement at least some sort of chance in the playoffs, and that's all you can ask for year in and year out.
Yeah, and listen, I know there's some people that aren't happy with the results of the season so far. I completely understand and relate. If you win against the Browns and you win against the Panthers, right, if you win those games, then you're sitting at the top of the NFC. So I completely understand where you're coming from. But I'm with Jacob. We got to pump the brakes. We're talking about firing the 14th all-time winningest coach in history. Somebody asked me yesterday, said, man, if he's so that high, where does he's got to rank top 5 for the Packers, right? No, he's actually second. In Packers franchise history, the only coach that Matt LaFleur's winning percentage is underneath is Vince Lombardi. That's it. Mike Holmgren, Mike McCarthy, Curly Lambeau, all the great Packers head coaches over throughout history. Matt LaFleur is only behind Vince Lombardi in winning percentage. Now, people immediately go, yeah, but how many championships has he got? Fair point. Completely understand. But just want to point that out. So, all right, Jake, appreciate your time, man. It's good to see you back in here. Hopefully you get to feeling better. And, we'll plan on seeing you. Will you be with us tomorrow for the pregame show, sir?
Yeah, I should be.
All right, it'll be a fun one, man. As the team, I'm sure they've already traveled. If not, they're in the process of traveling to New Jersey. They may be staying in the big city. I don't know, but man, when they say that's in the swamp up there, the swamplands of the Meadowlands or whatever, I drove through up there 3 years ago. Flew into Jersey, rented a car, and just drove on the Jersey side with the Manhattan skyline to our right. It's a beautiful ride. I looked and said, "Oh, there's a Jets field." Damn, there is water everywhere. It's right in the middle of a swamp. It's unbelievable. So it was wild. So anyway, that's where they're at. We'll be bringing you guys all the live updates from MetLife Stadium. We'll give you live footage from there, the actives, inactives, all that good stuff for the PTA pregame show. And the beautiful thing about the 1 o'clock window, as soon as we wrap up the postgame show following the game, we'll jump right into the results and give you guys an updated look at the standings, the playoff simulator, all that stuff. So appreciate everybody hanging out with us. If you would, hit like, hit subscribe, click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live in the future. We'll see y'all tomorrow, 1.5 hours before kickoff for the PTA pregame show. Everybody have a wonderful day. Bye.
Here we go.
Bye, guys.